Okay, it looks like we're live. Okay, well, thank you for coming and welcome to
Hey,
Life
John,
Co-Pilot. We
Jim,
always like to bring
Jim,
pardon?
you're in a practice session.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yep.
There we go. Well, welcome today. Life's Co-Pilot is very excited to bring in all the way from Seattle, Teresa Barthol, who is an expert in working with seniors, especially in the real estate arena. And we want to bring her here to start sharing with us what she does and how it works. And Teresa, you've got some guests with you. I'm going to have to let you introduce your guests here. So.
Yes, I do this morning, Jen. Thank you so much. And it's early here in Seattle versus your East Coast time, but we are ready and wanting to talk about how to serve seniors and how to grow your business. So first up is Elisa Hawkinson, who is an organizer, and she has written a book called Calming Your Chaos. And I'm going to give her the platform right off the bat because she has something else she's got to run to this morning. And then Becky Porter, who is with Tila Mortgage, and she is just well versed in talking about how to serve seniors with the new mortgage products that are available for lifestyles for seniors, and how they can buy with these mortgage programs and how they can refinance with them, and how they can get additional monies to do repairs and work. So, and then hopefully soon after that, we'll have Debbie and Debbie Mycott. She is with legacy writing, and she talks about how you can share your legacy with your loved ones. So
okay, Debbie Lorenz.
Lorenz, she changed her name. So Debbie Lorenz, and she'll be
Okay.
up next after that and talk
She
about
has just
legacies.
been promoted to panelist, so she should be up here.
Okay. So, and I'm Teresa Barthol, EXP Realty, Lifestyles to Live, here on the golf course in Mill Creek, Washington. And that Mill Creek is just north of Seattle. And I believe I'm living the lifestyle and I'm a senior, and I would invite you to come visit me here. But in lieu of coming to visit me and getting on to the whole golf course scene this morning, let's talk to Elisa about downsizing and decluttering and how we can grow our business by working with her.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you very much. So I recently worked with Teresa with a client that provides a really good example of what's happening to a lot of seniors. They wait too long before they downsize or edit their belongings, and then they just have too much stuff, more than they need to take to their new location. And so it's a matter of editing what they have, helping them decide what they need to take. So when a senior knows where they're going, that's the joy, because then we know how to plan for what they will take. It's easier to corral things. And so I help them work through that and encourage them with a soft kick in the tush to just let it go, let it go, let it go. And everywhere I talk, I'm asking people if they had to, could they list their house in 30 days? And they either throw whiplash or they go calmly, sure. It's rare that it's sure. And so that's why I really encourage people to just get through everything. There are about 300,000 items in the average home. So go through every cabinet, every drawer, every closet, and see what you need and use. And that's why I really work with my clients. So I had a gal whose closet fell down, literally, and they were working on putting it back together. And she found a maternity top she had worn 23 years prior. So we're surprised by what we find in our cupboards and closets, and it takes up space. And it seems that when people finally get around to moving, their health challenges kick in with high blood pressure, knee problems, back problems, and then they're not able to do the work themselves, and they have to hire it out, and it's very exhausting for them. So I just love it working with people to help them have a smooth transition when the change comes into their life. So what questions can I answer, Teresa?
Well, let's talk a little bit more about that. You've had a couple clients of mine lately that have,
yes.
We had a very serious hoarder that Lisa Hawkinson worked with, and it was a case of, amazingly, he came to me and said, Teresa, I can't live like this anymore. But he was a hoarder of clothes, and he was, fine clothes. He bought them at Macy's and brought them home, hung them up until they fell down. So it was quite a scene. But you were able to do what there? What did you do there? Remember?
Oh, yeah. Talk about a clothes hoarder. That's unusual for a man to have that many clothes. And the sad thing was they were affected by the smoke in the house. So we just helped him let go. And I had a man come in and haul away the things that were salvageable, a few things that could be sold, and much to the dump, which was sad.
Yeah. And then recently, much more, ready and to move person you were working with for me, and she's moving on and going to be using the reverse for purchase and getting a home. The one she's in has 3 levels of stairs and challenging for somebody that has some back issues and so forth. So you were in there, and she just had too many things in a small space. You're like living in 1,000 square foot, right? So
Right.
my challenge was, this is all very nice stuff, but we somehow got to, clear a little bit of it out. And you were excellent on moving things around and encouraging her, right?
Well, she really got on board when I talked about how we're going to change her home, but not take away everything. I said, we have to turn it into a product. We can't have all your personal things. So along the stairwell, she had what would have been nice 3 pictures. She had a dozen. So it's just way too much of everything. So we whittled it down so it was simple and attractive for a buyer to come in and see it. And she really got on board with it. It was fun. And she sees it. She's a bit of a clothes hoarder too. And we donated quite a few clothes. Lucky place that got those clothes. It was really nice.
Very nice thing she had, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about the book you've written, and what are you doing next with gathering business for yourself?
Well, it seems the last 2 years, my business of 20 plus years has really shifted to the senior community. And my book addresses anyone of any age. I've worked with moms of multiples up to the seniors. And the book addresses on chapter 5, step by step, how to organize a kitchen. And that translates into the garage or any room of the house. And I just recently converted my book into an ebook. So it makes it far less expensive and available to people. I'm doing more speaking because I just need to reach more people, encourage more people to get their place ready to list in 30 days, because that's a good goal. I have a couple recently, they're moving to South Dakota. They've known for a year that was their plan. They'd had a realtor for 6 months and they were ready to pull the trigger to list. And I was called in because there's no way that she could show the house the way it was. He's going to pay $35,000 to move everything to South Dakota, then get a dumpster to go through what they're taking that they should have taken care of months ago.
So Lisa, they're asking for your contact information here. What would be the best way to get a hold of you?
My phone number is 206-915-9911. I'll put that in the chat. That's the best way. And I do complimentary consults, discovery calls for half an hour for anyone. And that alone helps people. I've helped people in Alabama from Washington State move, because it can be done over the phone. So I just want to reach them, more and more people, to help them have a calmer, simpler transition in life, because so many things show up that cause a move unplanned, and it can be sudden.
Right. I often talk to people that are thinking about it. I have a lady that's probably in a 3,500 square foot house who is, everything's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. But yet at the same time, she's dancing on that place where it's time to move, right? So what happens? Her husband's going to have a crisis. She might have a crisis. Her kids are going to be, forced to come in, or they're going to have to hire it out. So it's not like she's in the overwhelmed phase. She just doesn't know where to start. And then starting, elicits that other conversation that, they don't want to leave what they love so much, right?
Right. So I really encourage people to spend time with their folks and find out why a certain piece was important. Where did they get it? What's the story behind it? And who would they like to have it when they breathe their last. And I've had grandmothers learn to take a picture and text it their grandkids and say, do you want it? I need to know by a certain date. And they're surprised how quickly they get a response because they've used the technology the kids would understand. They have a picture to share. And I just really want to help children not be dumped on when their parents pass away and they have to take care of all that stuff. It's a burden. I want people to be a blessing to their parent. I want them to be a blessing to their children.
Yeah, and do you find too, a lot of people think they're going to have an estate sale, but what happens with the estate sale concept?
Well, it's a hassle. COVID really curtailed that with home visits, and they don't get much money out of it. So if there's like 10,000 plus, that might be worth having an estate sale. I'm sorry, I'm going to cough. There's a place out of Canada, but they work in the US too, called Max, M-A-X, sold. And it's online sale. So that's a good way to do it. Or if you can hire someone to do the estate sale for you, but it's a hassle. I'm more into being generous and giving away, make it easier and more simple.
Yeah, Lisa, we have a company called Caring Transitions where we help people do that. And
Excellent.
and it's very rare that we're going to estate sales. It takes a very unique situation for them to work, but we do a lot of times do what we call CT bids, which is an online auction, and we pick out the things that might be the best received, and also help them, like say for instance mom or dad had a passion about something. Sometimes I always say if you find somebody else that has that passion that they go to, that's better than taking it. And then after we do those 20, 40, 50, 100 things that we sell or groupings, then the rest of it we do to donation centers or to whatever, so, but that way it seems to kind of bridge a gap.
That's great. Would you put that in the comments?
Sure.
That's
And
great.
I will tell you, one of the things that's really interesting is what's terrifying is sad and what have you is how often you clean out a drawer and find things from their wedding that have never been opened that were being saved for a special day or something. I'm not really sure when that special day,
Right.
what criteria. And so you're putting away all these things from the 50s that are brand new in packets, which is very sad, actually.
Yes. I haven't found that very much. I find more of things that have been saved. They're just hilarious. Like
Yeah.
all the baby teeth or the umbilical cord in an envelope. It's like, are you kidding? Your 40-year-old kid wants to see that?
Yeah, we just recently had I don't know if you know what a rocket box is, but they're one of those storage things you put on top of your vehicle. Well, my husband and I, we were campers and skiers, and so the camping goods went up there and the skis went up there on top of the car, and we've been saving it forever. Like we haven't been camping in 20 years, I'm sure. And my husband just couldn't let go of it. Well, as you start to sell it, you don't have the clips that work right anymore for the install on the car, and the cars don't work that way anymore, and it almost becomes of no value, right? It's
Right.
like, who wants it? And now you got to figure out how to recycle it. Fortunately, we found a family that had 4 children and were headed on a trip, and it worked for their car, and they were just
Oh, that's awesome.
ecstatic. But we just gave it away because nobody wanted it for any dollar amount. So that's what I find too, is we all hang on to things thinking they're really worth something.
Yeah.
And really we're doing a disservice to the things themselves and to ourselves for hanging on to it that long, because then it doesn't bring us satisfaction to toss it in the garbage versus seeing somebody actually be able to use it and find a new purpose for it. So that was a happy story.
In that. I'm sorry, you had joy in that, right, Teresa, seeing them be so happy?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what's so awesome.
We should have done it 10 years ago.
I know. Oh, I do that so much. I do.
Can I share something real quick?
You may.
For those clients who have a hard time that are clothes hounds, I used to be really good every 6 months getting rid of clothes, and then all of a sudden I became more attached and saving them, thinking, you'll lose weight, use them again. And if you flip that around to knowing there's helping hands or there's domestic violence,
right,
and knowing that you're going to give all these beautiful suits and all these wonderful clothing that are really in good shape, you don't want to give them to just Value Village or Goodwill. giving them to a place where you know you're going to really help somebody get back on their feet brings you so much joy to actually purge and get rid of those. So, maybe that's a good tip to share with your clients that, do you like to help people tap into what kind of maybe is a little passion for theirs and somehow be able to use those items to better that passion and get, it out of there.
Right.
Oh.
So I run into a lot of women who have multiple sets of nice dishes and they don't know what to do with it, but they really don't want to keep them. And so I just say women starting over can take half a set, split a set and have nice dishes to get started. And that lit their fire.
Yep.
They could let go of them.
Yep. It's so exciting to be able to do that. Yeah. I've done that the last 2 or 3 moves. It's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 or 3 moves. I hope there aren't 2 more coming, but there might be.
Oh, there will be. Strategizing for retirement.
Yeah, there you go. There
Not
you
paying
go.
taxes on your houses. It's important.
Right. Well, Lisa, the subject of our conversation today with this group is as this is being recorded and sent out to other real estate agents around the country, is that how do we grow our business using these resources and knowledge that we have? So what would you say is one good tip that you would share with other real estate agents on how they can grow their business by connecting with you?
I think to be sensitive to people and of their situation and to be gentle and to say there's help for you to guide you through this so it doesn't have to be so stressful. And that can be done long distance, and I can coach them on the phone. I can talk to professionals and help find professionals. So just to encourage people, it doesn't have to be a terrible experience. There's help along the way for each of the pieces, where to donate. So I've had people call me hours away from where I live, and we can find places for them to donate or get people to come in to haul things away. I mean, I've done it all. So I have resources, I know where to look.
That's right. And you do good consultations via Zoom
Yes.
or over the phone.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be just right in your own backyard.
No, and with FaceTime, they can take their phone and show me what they're talking about. That works well.
And you charge a fee by the hour or by,
Yes. Yeah.
by the project, right?
Right.
And
Right.
anyone can take you up on talking to you about your contracts and your information. So, and your book, right?
Right.
Are
But
you
the
selling
ebook
it on?
is ebook is on
ebook?
Amazon. It's only $3.99. I mean, oh my gosh, the book was $24.95. So this is a great deal.
Wow, awesome. I didn't know that.
Is it How to Get
So-
Organized? Is that the title?
Oh, sorry. It's called Calming Your Chaos.
Calming Your Chaos. Okay.
Right. Chapter 5. It's worth just chapter 5. Chapter 6 is on moving. So
So
I've had a lady,
chapter 5 and Calming Your Chaos. That's what we need, right?
that's right. So I had a woman that moved from a large home to a lakeside apartment, and she wanted to make it look like a cottage. And so as we went through, I went, this looks more like a bordel than a cottage. So she signed up to every other week talk with me on the phone. She would set her intentions and then do her shopping and changing, and it worked well for her. She was very pleased. And I was able to look through her whole place and give her ideas, and she really liked it.
Awesome.
We have a question
Awesome.
here about someone's wanting to find out, how do you broach the subject of decluttering with a family member that is a hoarder and doesn't believe it?
Wow. So I think the 2 questions I often ask are, if you had to, could you list your house in 30 days? And if they say absolutely not, say, would you be interested in finding out how to do that with less stress? Take some time to do it. And it's hard. I have someone in the family that has those challenges. Just keep being gentle, or just say, if tonight is your last breath, who's going to take care of everything? Or could we go through and assign things now with a sticker on the bottom? Or can we donate now to create more room? And if they're older, you might say, and be safe. We don't want you wiggling through things or tripping over things. So it's a matter of health too, and peace of mind.
Chapter 1.
I think that's one of the things that I would recommend too, is if it's on the health issue, is like if it's cluttered to the point that they could fall, they could get hurt, they couldn't get an ambulance in or out.
Mhm.
I don't know what the circumstances are, but we do a lot of hoarder houses. And so now we've only worked with the actual hoarder a couple times. Normally it's been through an attorney or what have you, but twice we've worked with a hoarder, and that is a whole different level of challenge in dealing with it and trying to gently move things forward. So it's been successful, but it's been a very tedious and very, very trying opportunity. So
Yes, I work with hoarders now. If they have a therapist, they're on medication, I have the therapist's phone number, because it's very challenging if they're not willing to do it. So if they can be moved to their next location, then you can take care of the mess. That's better.
mhm.
Mhm.
Well, both of these
Yeah.
we ended up moving them. So that was but then we came in and did a lot of the stuff out from when they weren't there, so.
Yeah, that's the best. Right.
And that's what really happened. It was kind of amazing that the client that we worked with, Lisa, that he
Yes.
sort of divorced himself from it, but he'd come back in and, kind of, hey, where's my stuff,
Right.
occasionally. So you got to be careful that is a slippery slope to walk in if they are not on board with you because their state of mind, right?
So we have taken care, we look carefully at what we're looking at, and we'll save papers and statements that they need to know that they didn't realize they should have on hand with bank accounts that they might have. That was in the case of the gentleman we're speaking of. And so we had one of his many ice chests full of papers for him to take with him. We didn't just dump everything. We look for guns and jewelry. Those often show up.
Yeah, money in the mattress.
Right.
All that kind of stuff. I had a gal that, she was putting money in all kinds of places, little bagfuls. So
Wow.
any rate, Lisa, I know you have to get going here this morning, and I really appreciate you popping in here and talking to us about all that you do. And it is about encouragement, and you are the most generous and kind encourager I know. And I hope folks that are listening to this will reach out to you, give you a phone call, go on Amazon, get chapter 5 of Calming Your Chaos, $3.99, and
Teresa,
or give you a
I have
call.
one more quick question you can
Okay.
ask. Like tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, if all your clothes are clean, would they fit in your dresser in your closet? And if they say absolutely not, I say, where are your clothes? They're on the edge of the bathtub, the guest room, at my mother's. It's amazing. One gal said, oh yeah. And I don't know why, but I said, how many dressers do you have? And she said 3. Her friends elbowed her. They were just shocked. I said, well, not everybody has room for 3 dressers. So it's really a challenge. Talk to them about capsule wardrobe to really get it down to what they need. Like black pants will go how many tops, things like that. I had a lady with 26 pair of black elastic waist pants. It's just crazy. I know.
It's like you can't in a month's or a year's time wear all
I
those
know.
pants.
Yeah.
It becomes
Well,
ridiculous.
Thank you so much, Teresa, for inviting me on today. I really appreciate it.
And we'll look forward to doing more things together. Lisa's
Yes.
been set up. We're going to be having a conversation with her about speaking to a group that I belong to and addressing them on the topic of calming their chaos. So hopefully we can work that out, Lisa. And thank you. And you have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. Nice being with you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Lisa.
Bye-bye. I also just read a book recently that's called Objects of My Affection by Jill Similansky or something like that. I'll send it in the chat, but it was very cute. It was about this lady whose son had hired an organizer to organize his very difficult mother's belongings. And it's many days of her just sitting around waiting for the mother to decide that it would be okay to touch stuff. So it's very cute. And if you get a chance to listen to it on audio, it was pretty cute.
Great. Thank you.
It's in the chat there for you.
All right. I'm getting it. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, Jim, we got Debbie and Becky here too, but why don't I share my screen a little bit and talk something on this subject that we're discussing, if that's okay.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, it's my show after all, right?
Exactly. I'm here for the
Okay,
ride.
yeah, I know. Let's see if I can find it on what my share my screen here and you get everything else. Here we go. Here we go. So this is about serving that silver wave. And what I think is most important about talking about serving the silver wave is it really is all about encouragement. Lisa doesn't get very far with her clients without encouraging them. Isn't that right? And we too, as I meet with my clients and talk to them about selling their house, it's not about getting the paperwork signed on day one, but it's more about encouraging them along the journey that they're about to undertake. So when defining this aging population, I know many of you have heard the stories of how this wave is getting bigger and bigger all the time. And Jim, that's what your platform is all about too, is Life's Co-Pilot is meant to serve this ever growing population of the silver wave. And, you know, we're living longer. We're not taking our Social Security as soon as many did in the past. And we're retiring with funds, some of us, and some of us not so many funds. Becky and I had a conversation the other day that some people are just going to be living on their Social Security, and this is not an easy thing with how much they may be acquiring. So there's many niches to be working with. You know, there's the empty nesters and the over 55, the downsizing, the right sizing, the decluttering, those that are aging in place, the different lifestyles that we're all picking. But really, it's all about our passion to serve. And it's not random. I believe it's really our calling. Becky and I were talking about that the other day too. It's really how many of these people in this demographic can we serve and make sure that they're receiving the right kind of services, the ethical attention to doing the right thing in all cases, and honoring our professional designations as we have them. So why don't we go from here now and talk to Becky? Are you okay with that? Are you ready to
Sure, absolutely.
get going? And Becky, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Rebecca Porter with Tila Mortgage, and I specialize in reverse mortgages. I have been helping seniors for 13 years, been in the mortgage business. I want to say 2002 when I came in, and just have always had a passion of helping those who really need the help. And there's so much help with the senior population. And just since this last fall is when I decided to 100% focus on reverse mortgages. And I've spoken to well over 100 seniors at this point. And it is amazing how much need is out there. And there's a lot of misconception that, you know, children want to keep the homes. I think I've ran into maybe 2 that really have maybe an issue with, you know, the equity being used to help their parents live. Most really want to see their parents just live out their life in comfort and less stress. And really that's what the reverse mortgage can bring to seniors. The most popular mortgage is the HECM mortgage, and that is geared for seniors who are over 62. It starts at and over. And, you know, it really can just help take the stress out of retirement and allow people to live more of a leisurely life. And isn't that what retirement is supposed to be? You know, we've worked all of our life really hard, and, you know, you've got a lot of cash sitting in there doing nothing. You know, it's not something that's for everybody, but it can certainly help a lot of people. And even if the person isn't in great need, you can utilize it to really get further along financially. So it can be used as a very financial savvy tool. So there's a lot of different levels of need in it and utilization for it. So, I'm licensed in multiple states. So it's great. I can reach out to more people, and that is the goal. Tila Mortgage, their whole motto is lending with high ethics. And that is a huge focus. I am not going to be a loan officer who really sells the product to somebody who doesn't need it. I have, more often than not, if I don't see that it's a good fit, I've got other contacts that if a person needs to go into maybe a shared living situation, then they're going to get that. It's not about me, it's about the person. And that's my focus. And I feel very blessed to have met Teresa. And it looks like, with Lisa too, we've got a great team that we can really help a lot of seniors. And I think that's the most important situation. So if you've got clients who are looking at downsizing, you can do a reverse purchase. I've got a borrower right now who is ready to downsize, not so much downsize, is tired of paying condo dues and tired of the condo situation in the neighborhood where she's living at. So she's selling her house, and the real estate agent thought that they were going to have to move her way out in an area called Concrete, Washington. That is kind of out in the middle of nowhere, way up near the Canadian border, out in the middle of nowhere, which, let's stop and think, is that even safe for a senior to be out there? Where's the closest hospital? How is there ambulance close by? Her families would be almost 2 hours away. Not the best situation. Then she remembered, because she thought the bar was going to have to pay for, 100% cash for a house. And there's nothing with 300,000 around our area in a house. Then she remembered about the reverse mortgage and me. So now it totally flipped the situation. She can sell the condo, stay in the Everett, Snohomish County area, close to her family, utilize the reverse mortgage, not have a payment. We're looking at still allowing the borrower to have 50,000 cash in the bank. We'll work with her on a budget plan. So it's not just about giving these folks a mortgage. It's really finding out what are your future possibilities, what, needs that might come up, and making the whole situation work for them. So she's able to stay closer to the family, be where, hospitals and things are going to be much closer when the need arises, maybe 15 years down the road. So it's exciting that I'm able to help her out. So that's what we're looking at. So if you've got borrowers who are downsizing, maybe you have friends and family, or even yourself, that you're like, hey, I'm close to retirement. Let's look at all options. It may be for you, maybe it's not. So until you really investigate it out, and for your borrower too, it's not up to you to decide what mortgage program works for them. It's up to us to present to them all of the avenues. Right.
Well, and Becky, that we were sitting in the Mill Creek Country Club the other day, right, having a discussion about, somebody popped over and she had a list of questions, and that's just it. I think people are scared and they have misconceptions about it all, and so we were able to, sort of organically educate her about some of the worries that she had over the particular loan. And it may work for them and it may not. So it's really important, like you say, for everybody to dive into their own financial situation and kind of do the consult. It's more than just an application, like it's more than just a listing.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. So at any rate, thank you. And again, on topic, we're talking about how we can grow the business in the senior demographic, and what would be your tips for other real estate agents on how they can grow their business in serving seniors?
I'm sure that there's many avenues to go out and find that senior population, but coming across is really that you care, I think, about them. And I think for the real estate agent to even have a consultation with me to go through, so they even understand a little bit about the reverse mortgage, and to know those questions to kind of ask the borrower. Sometimes you're going to get pushback. I have been finding even in the last year that there's less pushback. The myths are being demystified, right? The education's slowly getting out there about, how great the reverse mortgage can be. But just, it can help you a lot grow that business. You're going to be able to have a larger sell. but it's not even about that. It's really about servicing the borrower, servicing, your client, and that you're going to be able to help them really reach a lot of dreams. So it can help you really grow your business. You've got, 10 to 12,000 people a day turning 62. This is huge area.
Well, and I find that as a real estate agent, one of the best things I can do is help people buy something that they didn't think they could buy. In other words, they get a lot of equity in maybe the current house that they own, and maybe they want to move into something that's one level or a condo or whatever, but they don't have to take all that cash that they got in equity and put it into the next thing. And with the rising prices of everything, it's, heck, my current borrower is going to sell a $400,000 house and then turn around and buy an $800,000 house, but not have to come up with any more than just the equity that she pulls out of the current one. So she's thrilled. So
exactly. So yeah, it used to be, the whole 50%. Well, things have changed. So it's going to be more than probably 50% in today's world. It's not a magic percentage. It's an age-based program, which sounds really kind of a little morbid, but it does go off of the life expectancy, because you're not making a payment, you're paying your tax and your insurance only. But that's huge. If they can buy a $600,000 house for $350 and never make a payment, or maybe it's their current home that they want to keep and they own it outright and they want to pull cash out and then pay, cash for a second home.
Yeah.
So there's lots of things that we can do to help make those dreams come true.
Yes.
I was going to say, we're getting ready to do a seminar here in Indy for realtors, because I just, right now, one of the problems is still inventory, finding, people are afraid to move because they're afraid if they're going to find something. Okay. So what I'm trying to suggest to them is sell their house that they're in, move into an independent living community. And there's a lot of those that do month to month, and they even pay the realtor to bring people there, live there while they're building a new house or finding that new house, and they can solve that fear, and they could use a reverse mortgage to buy that next house. And I mean, there's so many wins here that are available, people just don't realize are available.
Right. And us helping, us coming together and collaborating and helping them navigate through that, I think is huge. It's a lot of stress. People, even in my business, underwriters, processors, managers that have never actually worked directly with the borrower, they don't realize how stressful this is on the elderly. I mean, it's some of them, literally, I get calls crying, how quick can you get it closed? My husband passed away. My 60% of my income's evaporated. Planning. So if we can all get ahead, help these people get ahead of the game, it's just so much.
Yeah, there's so many twists and turns in it. That really is important to, do a consult on all the benefits and how it would work for them specifically. Thank you, Becky.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
It's great to have you. Yeah. So next up is Debbie Lawrence. Thank you, Debbie, for hopping on. And are you ready to chat with us a little bit about what you do?
I am ready. Thank you.
Awesome.
So I am Debbie Lorenz, and I founded my company Telos Legacies to help families preserve their histories and allow people the opportunity to send their message to future generations. So telos itself is a Greek word, and it was used by Aristotle to convey the concept that everybody has this individual core purpose in life, and that core purpose is our legacy, so hence the company name. The company itself actually evolved from the death of my mother. She was suffering from cancer, so it was expected, but still unexpected. And even though I had that final time with her and we talked a lot about the family history, she was the matriarch, and she knew not just the lineage, but the stories that brought all these family members that I never knew to life. So I thought, great, she's conveyed that to me. I even gave her one of the fill in the blank books. And after she passed away, I felt pretty confident that we had done our job saving all that information. But no, I found in her office the book. It was empty. She never took the time. And in the midst of this very deep grief, I actually felt anger towards her. Like, why didn't you do this? And then I looked in the mirror and thought, why didn't I do it? I could have written down the stories as easy as she could have. But I still had the memories and we had talked about it. And then I realized, as the childhood game that we play in kindergarten of telephone, you whisper something in someone's ear and it goes on down the line. So, and you know that that changes by the end, right? So imagine through several generations how much your family story is going to change. So with all of this awareness, I realized there's really a need for people to preserve that. We're not sitting down to family dinners and even telling the stories as much as we did anymore. And I'd say 99% of the people who I tell what I do, everybody wants it. And not just that they want to share, and that sharing is very evident, looking all the way back at the cavemen. They were drawing pictures on walls because they wanted to convey their story. Hieroglyphics, Shakespeare, the concept of writing and sharing about ourselves and about human nature and about the world is very integral in us. But also on the flip side, we want to receive. So many people, when I tell them what I do, their immediate response is, oh, I wish I had a letter from my grandmother, uncle, mentor, whoever that special person is. So we not only want to tell people about ourselves, that's social media, and we tell people what we're eating every day, but we also want to receive. And I think receiving the meaningful messages is so important. So whereas we do our, there's several types of wills. There's the, I'm slipping my mind now. So there's the last will and testament. And then there's also a living will, so it's your health care, but there's also an ethical will, and that's the lesser known of them, and that's where the focus of my work is. So I don't actually normally call it an ethical will because that gives the impression that it's a legal binding document, and it's not. I use the term legacy letter, so it's merely saying, this is who I am. These are my morals, values, my most precious memories, and this is how I want to be remembered. So that's the service that I offer. Legacy letters. I will also write full family histories. I don't do genealogy work. You're best served if you want to find out about your genealogy and your DNA history, go to ancestry.com or whatnot. I want to capture the memories that bring the families to life and pass on those stories. I would also touch on, because it's coming up again and again, about orders and downsizing, or a term that I really like, right sizing. This process of preserving your history can be extremely therapeutic for people, and particularly when they're going through that downsizing and getting rid of this stuff. Because I found it's not so much the tangible item, it's the memory that that item holds. So if we can record that story and take a picture of it and put it in a book for them, it just allows them to release it so much easier. And I've worked with quite a few seniors who are going through that process, and it really is very helpful. So I think there's a definite synergy there in my services and the services of brokers, real estate agents, mortgage agents, anyone working with this 55 plus demographic of people.
I would say
gives a good summary of what I do. I'll open up for questions.
Debbie, do you have a visual there? Your books are beautiful that you do. Do you have an example that you could show, or
I can pull up my website.
Or website? You should put that in the chat too.
Yep, I've actually recently changed my company name And the product pages I haven't moved over. So we're gonna look at am I able to share? Do I have access to sharing?
Should be if you do, there's a little green, it says share screen down at the
Yeah,
bottom.
okay. I just need to call up my website.
While she's doing that, I'll tell a little story. My mother passed away not too long ago, and she had this collection of hankies. So when you talk about it being therapeutic, it was really that. I washed all those hankies, and then I ironed them. And as I'm ironing them, I go, I used to do this. This is how I learned how to iron. And it just took you down that road. And then I took a picture of them all and made gift cards out of them, or birthday cards out of them after the fact. So there's things you can do with those pictures of
Right.
things too. So, okay, go ahead with your website there, Debbie.
So there are three primary services I offer: the legacy letters, which are generally around 30 to 50 pages, family legacy books, which are geared towards the whole family, and then milestone moments, so births, weddings, retirement parties. You guys might be working with some people there. So the legacy letters, they are soft bound, and they come in this leatherette keepsake pouch, which is nice because you can also stick in photos and things in there. This is what a legacy book would look like. This is nearly a 300-page book. It's big. It's a coffee table size. We can do the full-blown pictures. We have excellent scanners to take even the tiny slides and get such good quality that we can blow them up. We can put in family trees, family crests, whatever it is you want to put in there. Recipes, we can include famous recipes. We do an abridged version. So this is a shorter version, maybe around 150 pages. It just gives a different sample. Sometimes it's better to do it horizontal or vertical. It's very personalized service, what suits your family's needs. And then books to commemorate milestone moments. This was a book about all of the international travel. And I also do an heirloom collection. So you get the main book. I convert it into a children's book and gear it towards a 10 to 12-year-old writing, so that all of the grandchildren can begin learning the family stories. And it includes two legacy letters. And I also do with that a personalized family trivia game. So those are great fun. They're just little square cards, and at family dinners you can pull it out, and I just extract the questions from the books. Those are pretty fun and can be amusing. So that gives you an idea of what the books that I do look like in the legacy letters.
How does someone get a hold of you?
They should look at my website, teloslegacies.com. It's got all my contact details, and I will put in my email and my phone number chat.
What did you say? What was the name of your company? I wrote down Memories Worth Telling. I grabbed the wrong one.
Yeah, that was the original name.
Okay.
I've updated it to Telos Legacies.
TE.
TELOS.
Okay, thank you.
So Debbie, in keeping with our theme for today, what would you say to other real estate agents about how to grow their business with this, with your help?
It's a great add-on service. So as they're doing the next chapter of their life, why don't they consider capturing their full story? And it's something that they can tell about the family that they raised in this house, the first steps that happened in this room, and capture the memories that were in the house. Because I think the agents that I know who are working with seniors, they've often been in their house 20+ years. So there are a lot of memories in that house, and also their surrounding area, the town and the lifestyle they lived. I just finished doing a book for a 94-year-old, actually 95-year-old, as of about a week ago, 95-year-old lady. She was from the Midwest. That's the great thing about Zoom these days too, is that I can do these internationally, essentially. And she grew up in Bode, Iowa, and she talked a lot about the town and the surroundings, and her father built the house that they lived in, so it had a lot of meaning to them. So these families who are leaving behind everything they've ever known, encourage them to capture it, and I think that will make the transition and the sale for agents a little bit easier.
Yes, I think I'm just myself, I went to Eagle Bend, Minnesota. I'm not sure any of you have ever heard of it, but that's where I was born. And my grandfather actually built a stone house in Eagle Bend, which is you know, kind of a monument there in the town itself.
Mhm.
And a really interesting, you know, story to tell too, but there isn't any documentation of it anywhere. It's all been kind of, you know, this uncle said that and this uncle said that, and you know, nothing that we can, you know, really put our hands on. So really, for people that do significant things like that in their life, to be able to document it and to be able to tell it and transfer it on, I think it brings encouragement to the next generations. I think that's the purpose of it too, is it really brings encouragement and satisfaction to know what those that have gone before you have done in your family lineage.
Right. Yeah.
Great. Anybody else got other questions for Debbie? I know you're
No
busy.
no question, but wow, Debbie, I think that is just a true blessing that you have to be able to write that, and what beautiful work.
Mhm.
What beautiful, beautiful work you do.
Yeah. It's gonna last for generations.
Yeah.
The gift that keeps giving.
That's right. It truly is a gift you have. So, and I thank you for jumping on here with us this morning. And any other questions from the group in general? We're about at an hour here in this.
Well, Debbie, I just wanted to say something real quickly. I was doing my own genealogy and I found out that I have this 5 times great grandfather that was prolific as a writer, and he was a pastor, and I ended up getting a copy of his book. It was a reprint, obviously,
Nice.
but I found
Yeah.
it. To read the book of my 5 times great grandfather was that's priceless. I mean, it's, you know, to be able to have had something like that where he was giving his thoughts rather than he was actually beating up something. He was in the middle of an argument with the president of founder of Princeton. But so anyway, but it was so it would have been interesting to have heard about his other parts of his life as well, you know. So
Right. Yeah.
but
If
that
his
was
words
that
are-
I had no idea how cool that was. I mean, it was about a topic, a religious argument, and I wasn't sure if it would be boring to read, but it was just so cool to sit down and feel like I just sat down with my 5 times great grandfather, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's
Very cool.
exactly why I do this. I'm
Mhm.
thinking way out in the future, the people who are going to benefit from this.
You know,
Yeah,
I mean, he died in the
very cool.
1700s, you know, so it's you know, that's quite
Wow,
a thing.
that's amazing that you have that.
I'm
Very
thrilled.
cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a book from his father too, but I can't read it because I can't read Welsh. So, you know,
Oh,
but
wow.
Yeah.
It
Well,
translated.
I'm ready to wrap up. Jim, are you?
I am too. I think you guys did a great job. Thank you so much. I will send a copy of this video on to you, and of course it'll be on my Scopilot. We do these twice a month. We bring in a panel of experts and we explore different topics. You know, so we always have good things coming up. I'll be real quick to see what's coming up next. On the 26th, we have a gentleman who has a company called Assisted Living Locators, and what he does, he works like a buyer's agent for realtors, but he does it with senior living communities, assisted living, and what have you. And he sits down with the client and their family and helps them find best, one that'll fit best geographically, financially, care levels, all that kind of stuff, socially, and then helps you navigate that scary, trying to figure that out. And am I getting a good one? Is this one got the right ratings? Is it got the right people? He does that for you, and he's just a great guy. So we're doing that on the 26th from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern. So that would be what, 3 to 4 for you guys. So anyway, we do this twice a month, and it's fun. I love to get together and get this knowledge out there for people, because as someone who has been the only sibling that stayed in state and had to take care of my in-laws, my parents, my uncle, I'm still POA guardian and trustee for my mom and my uncle. It's hard navigating this stuff, and it's great to get real information rather than somebody's barber's nephew that told you what's going on. So thank you, ladies, for coming and sharing with us today.
Hey, you're welcome.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you, Becky. Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you.
And we'll see you later.
See ya. Take care.
Enjoy the day.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.